He's getting older.
You gotta be raping me!
Oh, hit the volume!
But not wiser.
Everybody has affinity for cock.
This is the Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lefty Show, episode number 31. I'm your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with you today, Friday, the 6th of June in the year of our spaghetti monster, 2014. D-Day 70, baby. This date, 70 years ago. How crazy is that? 70 years ago, today, the United States and Allied forces made a concerted push on beaches in France to begin to try to push back German forces from Western Europe, Normandy, Omaha Beach, all those things. Saving Private Ryan happened today, 70 years ago. There, for the millennials, for the movie culture people, 70 years ago today, Saving Private Ryan happened. I mean, not like, you know, that, but Saving Private Ryan, probably the best. I mean, again, I've never been in combat, but I have to believe that it's really hectic and it is incredibly earth-shattering, and it has the potential certainly to be life-altering. And I think Saving Private Ryan did a good job of recreating at least as best as a movie can do, without being there, without understanding the finality of it all, of war, of death, of bullets, of explosions. I think Saving Private Ryan probably did it. So that happened 70 years ago today. Your history tidbit for the day. We're going to get to that in a bit, but thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for watching and liking and favoriting on YouTube. Helping the channel grows helps the show grow. Thank you to everybody that's been donating. Got a whole slew of donations yesterday from That's Not Why I Called. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. That's I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. Go ahead and click the link in the description. I'mRaising.com/643 Productions. Every little bit can help the show. And thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show with your friends, family, and co-workers, helping the show grow in a grassroots kind of way. So, 70 years ago today, D-Day happened. 70 years ago, we began to push back the evil Nazi German war machine and push them back to Berlin and beyond. Well, not beyond Berlin, because then that would be east towards Russia, and Russia was pushing back from the other way. But you know, that was a crazy time. That must have been a crazy time for America, to be an American and to live through wartime. Must have been an experience, because, you know, that was the thing. I mean, it was a world war. It was, we all have to come together in some way to push back this very clear evil. It wasn't, you know, Vietnam, where it's like, why do we not like the North Vietnamese? Because the Russians, man, what? Huh? Not like Korea. Certainly not like Iraq or Afghanistan or anything like that, where you have to deal with a lot of, you know, are they really bad? Who are they? What's going on? Did they really, you know, what had they done to warrant the indiscriminate bombing of women and children from time to time? Not all the time. Not every bomb dropped in Afghanistan is on an innocent family. However, it happens a lot. And it's like, you know, they only got a few of us. It's, you know, we've killed a lot of them, and they only got a few of us. Maybe, just maybe, we can stop with trying to drop bombs all over the place. And maybe we can say, all right, look, to spare the lives of truly innocent people, we're going to call it a day. But anyway, the enemies were clear. The lines were drawn. There was no, like, you know, I think the Germans might have something here. I mean, of course, the German populace were like the only people. Even the Italians were like, fucking Mussolini, God damn it. They were the only people that was like, yeah, this Hitler guy, he's got something on the ball. I like what he's thinking. I like where he's going with this whole, you know, race thing, and we're the best and we're going to conquer the world. There was none of that. There was no, like, you know what, I think the, you know, Japanese pretty okay dudes. Pretty okay guys, the Japanese, in my book. I don't know why we're over there fighting them. What the fuck's going on? It was very clear once Pearl Harbor, I mean, originally we wanted to get into the war, and then Pearl Harbor, many people believe Pearl Harbor was kind of the catalyst that allowed, because we had been shipping arms and aid, all that stuff previously, but Pearl Harbor was kind of the public catalyst. That's what allowed the public to go, oh, now it's for real. Now it's real. Now let's go do it. And that gives way to a whole lot of people like, oh, Pearl Harbor, we fucking, we knew it was coming. We let it happen so that we could go to war. It's like the entire Western fleet was gutted, man. Why would we want that? Like, if we wanted to get into war, you put all the ships out to sea, you let them blow up some air assets, cool, the radar thing, whatever, fine. But all the ships in Pearl Harbor that were all fucked up, like a lot of the Pacific Fleet was absolutely gutted. And, that's a pretty hefty price to pay for a war that you were pretty much already in. You just needed a way to allow them to allow the public to be like, oh yeah, now we should go do it. Now let's go do it. So I'm of the mind that, they knew that that the Japanese were coming because they had one of the very first radar installations, but they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with it. They didn't know how it worked. They're like, yeah, there's a bunch of these things. Well, there's supposed to be a shipment coming in. Maybe they just got a headwind. It's like, well, they're coming from the west. Yeah. It was like 9/11. They knew the Japanese fleet was out there and they knew they wanted to attack. They knew it. Like, all right, they're coming. When? We don't know. 9/11, they knew there were terrorists that were plotting to fly to the United States, get piloting lessons, and use planes as missiles on strategic targets. They knew that was going to happen. They knew that was the plan. And they decided to they were like, okay, well, what are we going to do about it? Now, there was a whole bunch of agency infighting and stuff like, no, I get the collar on this. This is my collar, et cetera, et cetera. And as a result of that, nothing really happened. Similar story here. We know the Japanese fleet wants to come get us, because they're very, very, very angry with us in our embargoes, our trade embargoes. And they like the southern resource area and the Dutch East Indies and all that oil to fuel their war machine and partly the German war machine as well. So they're going to probably come try to take us out before we can stop them from claiming the Dutch East Indies. All right. Well, they left. Okay, we know they're gone. Where are they? We don't fucking know. And, did they sneak up on us like, holy shit, there they are? No, but, they had a strategic advantage. They had strategic surprise, if not tactical surprise. I think I'm differentiating those two properly. Strategic surprise, if not tactical surprise. Pearl Harbor happened, and partly as a result of it, bam, Normandy, baby. Yeah. And, it was, again, getting back to wartime, just I wonder what it was like to have pretty much everybody, not everybody, of course, pretty much everybody on board with the war effort. Entire factories retooled and stopped making washing machines or vacuum cleaners and started turning out guns or bullets or tank turrets or anything of the sort, tank tracks, whatever you could do, you did. Whatever a factory you owned could do, you did it. The government helped you pay for it, kinda, but you did it anyway. Gasoline was rationed for, that was the last time, one of the last times, was there a declaration of war in Korea? I'm not exactly sure. But the last time we were actually at war, there was a declaration of war. Congress, our governing body, us, right? Our representation said, we're going to do this. We're going to town. We're going to war. And it's going to happen. Here's what we need to do. Strategic reserves, oil, gasoline, all that stuff. Civilians, you're going to have to cinch up your belts. Find a way to do it because everything that we need for the war effort is going for the war effort. And if you need to retool, we'll help pay for it. We'll sell bonds, or we'll ask you to buy bonds and stuff so that we can get the money to do it. And we're gonna go build all this stuff and flying out to war. And just think about the logistics of that. One thing that is never really covered, and you could say, I guess, unsung heroes, one of the unsung heroes of the war, but think about the logistics of fighting a war, of waging a war on that scale, of a world war. Think about the logistics of that, because we've got paratroopers, right? We're going to drop in these guys behind enemy lines, and then we're going to go with the frontal assault, and the battleships and the destroyers are going to bombard the coastlines and give them, provide covery fire while we storm the beach. And okay, we did all of it, right? But work backwards from that. What does a paratrooper eat? What do you eat in a day, right? What are you sending a paratrooper in with regards to food or water, a canteen? How much ammunition? How heavy is that ammunition? And then not only do you have to decide all that, you have to make it and get it there. You have to get all the artillery shells. You have to get all those those long, thin rod bombs that they used to blow up. The berms of sand with barbed wire on them. You've got to get all that there. You've got to plan like, all right, D-Day is this day, June 6th. Okay, that's going to be D-Day. All right, well, now we need to work backwards from there and make sure the people are there, the supplies are there, the supply chain doesn't fall apart, all these fucking things. It's got to go from steel made in Pittsburgh. This is back when, America actually made stuff from scratch. From steel in Pittsburgh to tanks in wherever, Philadelphia or something, wherever they're being made, North Carolina. I don't even know. I don't even know if these are production states. They sound like they could be made there. If you think of something like, oh, shit, that was made in Raleigh. Huh? That's kind of crazy. And it's got to go from that to being made there, to assembled, to shipped over, staged in London maybe, or Ireland. Who the fuck knows, right? And then it's all got to be there. It's all got to be there. And this is the day before computers, before satellite communications, before instantaneous transcontinental communications. I mean, I don't even know if there was a sea line. I doubt there was. And you had to coordinate all of that. And all of that came together. All of that came to a head today, 70 years ago. And it's really cool to think about. And, a lot of people are going to be talking about war today and America waging war. And I thought it'd be a good time to talk a little bit about some things I've said on this show that people might have an issue with. I've been very tongue-in-cheek critical of America's most recent war efforts. Not even war efforts, just combat efforts, because it's not a war unless Congress says it is. That's it. That's the end game for me. The Constitution says this, the Congress has the power to make war and a declaration of war. There hasn't been a declaration of war in a long, long time. So we are not at war and haven't been. We didn't go to war against Afghanistan. We didn't go to war against Iraq. If you're a serviceman, whatever, you weren't at war. I'm sorry. No, no, man. No, I'm good. I fought for your freedom. No, you didn't. Iraq wasn't infringing upon my freedom. Neither was Afghanistan. None of those people. Sorry. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry that I am not going to be like the rest of America and suck on your dick because you signed a paper to go in the Army. Maybe because you were caught boosting cars or something in a parking lot. I'm not going to do it because not all combat efforts are as noble, let's say, as what happened 70 years ago today on the 6th of June. Not all war efforts are that, or combat efforts. That was war. You were engaged in combat. And what's more, like I said earlier, the enemy was clearly defined, and there was a clear reason why we were doing this. Clear. And you may not have liked it. You may have said, you know what? Fucking who cares about what Hitler's doing over there? Let him do that. If you want to be that reclusive about it, okay. But there was still a clear and pretty justifiable and pretty reasonable argument to be made for all of this. But now, in Iraq and Afghanistan and all over the fucking place, what are we doing? What, fighting for freedom, huh? Again, Taliban's never infringed upon my freedom. Barack Obama has. The NSA has. Homeland Security has. I saw a report that federal agent, this is not the news, this is just in dead federal agent news, Pittsburgh, Dateline Pittsburgh, a federal agent shot and killed himself inside a U.S. Department of Homeland Security building in Pittsburgh on Thursday afternoon, county officials said. Good. Every dead federal agent is the best kind of federal agent. Good. Glad. Happy. One less of the motherfuckers. Barack Obama, the NSA, Homeland Security, has done way more to infringe on my freedom, on my liberties, on my way of life than some brown guy in Afghanistan or Iraq or Saddam Hussein. Way more. Are you fighting them? No? Well, then shut the fuck up. You're just going where you're told. And you're killing people because you were told to do it. I will respect you, and I will feel bad that you had to be in combat, because I'm sure that is that is one thing that has not and will never change. Combat is a traumatic experience. Unless you're one of the fucking asshole Air Force guys who sits in an air-conditioned trailer flying drones and killing innocent people, and fuck you, you're not fucking anything, no salute, you're getting a fucking bullet in the brain, that's all you're getting. You're killing innocent people from an air-conditioned fucking trailer 3,000 miles away. I'm a hero. No, you're fucking not. No. The only ounce of respect I would have is for boots-on-the-ground troops. Because combat, regardless of all the political bullshit, all the why we're here, what we're fighting for, who we're trying to kill, all of that goes out the window when the bullets start flying. And I'm not going to say, oh, you baby killer, blah, man. What are you doing, man? No. You're in combat? That's some shit. That is some fucking shit. And that sucks. And now I'm not going to allow you to turn it into, oh, I was fighting for your freedom, man. You got to respect. No. That's not how it works. I will say, man, that's some shit. Like a friend who's in a car accident, right? If the friend's in a car accident, they're laid up in the hospital, or they're fine. Your friend's like, man, I was in a car accident. You're like, fucking really? Yeah, dude, it was crazy, man. I busted my head open. I had to go to the hospital, get some stitches. Dude, are you all right? Yeah, I'll be fine. It was just a really traumatic experience. Oh, shit, dude. You're right. That really was traumatic. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. If you need any help, I can help you out a bit, but that sucks, man. You want a beer? Yeah, dude, let's have a beer. End of fucking conversation. That's it. You get as a combat troop, all you get is, oh man, that was some fucked up shit. That was fucked up. You get a pass, like you're going to see somebody about that, right? Do you feel all right? Post-traumatic stress disorder, shell shock, or go see somebody, and it better be fucking free for as long as you need it. But that's all you get. You don't get stand up when the flag, or when I walk around in my fucking camouflage and no. You don't get that. Because you're not fighting for my freedom. What the fuck are you talking about? How could people possibly delude themselves into thinking that going to kill brown people somewhere is fighting for their freedom? There's an Army Ranger. Many people have probably seen this video. The video where an Apache helicopter, an Apache gunship, I believe it's Apache, I may be wrong, engages what they believe to be hostiles in, I want to say, Fallujah. And they engage these, quote, hostiles via, however far they are away. They're just kind of hovering there and just blah, 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 blah. They're all the depleted uranium rounds or whatever they're shooting at these people, and they blow these motherfuckers apart. Well, it turns out that they were an innocent group of people, and in that group of people were two Reuters reporters, And then a van that came up to help these people and drag away the wounded, which was subsequently engaged and killed, was a van, just another innocent guy and a couple of kids. That's fucking kids. And then, boom, 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 boom. And then the Army Rangers, the boots on the ground troops, were called in to pick up, you know, see if there's any survivors that need to be arrested and fucking transported to Gitmo. And this former Army Ranger tells the story about how he did it and how he was one of the guys on the ground. And he walked in and he saw the ghastly scene, and he saw these were fucking kids. And he said, well, I picked up a child and I tried to, you know, call a medic and stuff, and the child died in my arms or died on the truck, etc. And then I was having a hard time dealing with it. And my commanding officer was like, you're a fucking pussy. Deal with it. So I dealt with it. I watched movies and I tried to forget that it ever happened. That's what's happening. Is that fighting for my freedom? How did killing those two Reuters reporters make me safer? How did it protect and preserve my liberties, my constitutional rights, that those Reuters reporters, those fucking children, are dead? And that sergeant was, oh, you're a fucking pussy. So what, we killed children. War is hell. You're not at fucking war. You're a bunch of dickless grunts in combat. There's a difference. There's a difference. The 90-year-old veteran who parachuted again into Normandy at 93 years old today, who did it today, that guy was at fucking war. That guy. And that guy committed, I'm sure atrocities were committed in the name of the Allied forces during things that we would consider today to be atrocities, were committed during the march on Berlin, pushing back the German forces. Yeah, bad things happen. Of course. I did no denying it. There was a little bit of raping and a little bit of pillaging and a little bit of indiscriminate killing of civilians. But you know what? That was fucking war. That's what happens in war. That doesn't happen in combat operations. You don't get the shield of war in combat operations. You don't get that. It's not happening. So, you know, I've said on the show before, and apparently people take issue with it, but I'm not going to blindly support and blindly schlob on ye old knob of the military. It's just not going to happen. Support our troops. No, I'm good. Are they getting the health care they need? That's all I really fucking care about. Are they getting the health care well, no, and that's fucked up. I don't know enough about that situation, what's going on with the VA, to comment on it. All I can say is it's really fucked up, and it's unacceptable that it's that fucked up. Unacceptable. Are they getting the health care they need? Are they getting the psychological care that they need? Is it all free? It fucking better be. That's all. That's as far as it goes. You're not getting me standing up and saluting you. You're not getting me to shake your hand and say thank you for your service. No, fuck that. I'm not thanking you for shit. You didn't do shit for me. Especially, again, if you're one of those Air Force cocksuckers, I might beat the shit out of you. Flying drones. Yeah, man. Oh, okay. You like killing innocent brown women and children? You like that? Pimply-faced motherfucker? Chair Force bitch? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm not going to thank you for shit. You should thank me for not beating the shit out of you. I'm not going to, I am not. And every time somebody says, respect, it shows you respect. No. Respect is earned when you don't do fucked up shit. When you are actually at war, there's respect to be given, but you're not at war. We haven't been at war for a long, long time. And our society has been many things. We have fear and appeals to emotion, and fear is an appeal to emotion. So our society has been fundamentally changed in the last 20 years using nothing but constant, ever-present appeals to authority. Well, do you like dead children? There was a documentary on the practice of swatting that I watched. Good independent documentary. The guy had some weird movements when he was like speaking and reciting words that I found weird. But anyway, at the end, he asked a SWAT officer in some really like well-off town in county in New Jersey. He said, "Well, how would you How would you respond to people that say, you know what? You're cops in motherfucking a really rich town in New Jersey. Do you really need to have excuse me, I'm sorry I said $5,000. $2,500 a pop AR-15s? Do you really need to have military tactic training and military weapons and military armored transport and body armor? Do you really need all that? And the guy's response was, well, think about what happens were you to lose a loved one. Ask somebody who loses a loved one. We've become a society where all we do is appeal to our own emotion. Anything we want to do is done either by fear or by our love of something, our inherent want to protect children, to protect the youth. Oh, love that you protect the children because the life you save might be this innocent child. We don't argue anything on merits anymore. Fuck arguing on merits. It's no longer about that. It's about who can appeal to emotion better. Who can say, yeah, I'm fingering you when I'm going through Homeland Security or going through TSA to get on the airport. And yeah, the TSA guys are touching your balls and feeling up the genitals of children, but you might get blown up, so it's okay. It's not a, well, the Fourth Amendment says you have the right to all this, but here's our argument for this and da-da-da-da-da-da. There's not a meritorious argument to be found anywhere anymore. Just a simple, oh, well, you might die. You might get sick. You might hurt somebody. Somebody might hurt you. Or don't you love these children? Aren't these puppies pretty? Isn't this nice? Wouldn't you want to protect that? No, fucking make an argument on the merits. There's not a meritorious argument for indiscriminately killing brown people in Afghanistan, Iraq, or Yemen, or wherever the fuck they are now. There's not a meritorious argument to be had. The only thing they say is, well, we're stopping terrorism. What, do you want terrorists? Do you want terrorists? You're a friend of the terrorists, aren't you? Look at you. Because if you don't want us there, then the terrorists win. The terrorists might win. The terrorists might come over here. Motivated by fear, motivated by emotion. That's all we do in society now. And I'm not going to go along with it. I'm not going to allow some asshole who just got caught trying to boost cars, who had to duck into the Army or the Marines to escape prosecution. I'm not going to let that fucking jerkwater douchebag try to leverage my emotions into giving him some respect that his fucking peon intellect believes he deserves. Lead follower, get out of the way. Semper Fi, man. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. You don't deserve respect just because you signed a piece of paper and ran around for a couple of weeks in boot camp. Not a fucking ounce of respect. None. Not a goddamn one. You know who deserves respect? The 90-year-old guy who ducked out on his fucking caretaker so that he could show up in France today. They thought he was missing. They were like, where the fuck is he? Where's this old guy at? Where'd he go? Oh, fuck, we lost him. He's dead. No. He ducked out and went to France. Like, no, this is probably one of the last ones I have. I want to go be with whoever else is alive to remember this day. This is one of the most important days of my life. That guy deserves respect because that guy operated under the shield of war. No shield of combat. No shield of combat operations. Get the fuck out of here. No inherent respect for those people. And I'm not going to give it to them. So if that upsets you, if you're like, my cousin's in the military, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am not going to allow you and your jerkwater cousin to leverage my emotions against me. It's not going to happen. Just not. And you should honestly look at yourself. If you're upset about this right now, honestly think about why you're upset. Honestly think about why me saying, I'm not going to blindly follow everybody that heaps respect and adoration and lauds these military personnel of today simply because they signed a piece of paper and got shipped off to Afghanistan. Think about honestly why you're upset by that. And if your response is because they're fighting for our freedom, because if they weren't there, the terrorists would get us all. you need to really think about what motivates you. And you need to really maybe, I don't know, read a book or something. Just go to read a book, right? Go find a book and read it. Sit down and read it. Don't watch a movie. Don't watch the movie of the book. Go and sit down and just read a book. Have some time to yourself and think things over. Let your brain slip into neutral, and hopefully a rational thought will be able to percolate to the top of the teeming cesspool that is your brain. If you're honestly upset by this fucking guy is not respecting the troops, man. No, fuck the troops. I'll say it just to swing the pendulum back the other way. Fuck the troops. Fuck them. Fuck the troops. There. You happy now? The endless appeals to emotion have caused me to say this. I was fine with just saying, nah, I'm good. I'm not doing it. But the endless, the terrorists are going to get you. The fight for your freedom, man. You never do it. No. And you're right, I never do it. Because I'm not a fucking brainless, dickless moron. Fuck the troops. Fuck them. Let's do a little news. We're going to talk a little bit today about the Montana judge who, quote, who's everybody saying is blaming a 14-year-old for her own rape. There's a Pennsylvania kid suspended for bringing a toy gun to school. And we'll talk a little bit about the bullshit that is the college athlete and exactly what's going on. There's an interesting MLB Outside the Lines story. A little bit of rape news, rape culture. And we're going to talk a little bit about heroin and belly buttons, how we're going to make that work. This is an interesting story, I think. And maybe a little bit of job talk. Lots of topics today. We'll get into them. Try to get as many as we can. It's the news with Lefty. This is from CBS Charlotte. I am just going to read this because it's a CBS website, news site page, and I just want to get it the fuck off my screen right now. Dateline Greenville, a 315-pound man is accused of hiding dozens of bags of heroin in his belly button. Greenville police arrested Randolph Streeter following a traffic stop on May 29th and discovered 150 bags of heroin in his car and $1,200. WNCT TV reports that police then found an additional 40 bags of heroin hiding in Streeter's navel, along with crack cocaine and Percocet pills. And the fucking page is refreshed. God fucking damn it. It just did. It just refreshed itself. Reloaded. What the fucking CBS? God damn it! So I close it out. Sorry. So that's all we're getting from that story. I'm no longer reading it. Not going to try to populate that website as little as possible. Seriously, go to a CBS News website, local affiliates, wherever you are. Find your local affiliate CBS website and try to read a news story, and you'll see what happens. You will see firsthand what happens with this fucking bullshit. This is egregious, stupid bullshit. Fuck you, CBS. Anyway, so they're talking about they found an additional 40 bags of heroin. Now they're little what are they called? I think dime bags. Are there such things as nickel bags? They look really small, about the size of those small little pepper and salt packages that you can find at some diners. About that size, honestly. And they say they found 40 of these bags filled with heroin, not pepper or salt, in this guy's navel when they stopped him and found, and apparently Percocet pills too, because it said found 40 bags of heroin in his navel along with crack cocaine and Percocet pills. So I want to know, is the crack cocaine in there along with the Percocet? That's a pertinent question to me. But here's the thing, right? 315 pounds in the realm of, without knowing how tall the guy is, like if he's 5'8" and 315 pounds, holy shit. But if he's 6 feet tall, 6'2", 315 pounds, you're still fat. I mean, you're still like a big dude. But you can wear, given your skeletal structure, you can wear 315 pounds differently. There's a bunch of different ways you can wear 315 pounds. Now, I'm assuming that if he's hiding crack cocaine, Percocet pills, and heroin in his navel, he's a fat guy. He's on the fatter side. He's not like one of those thick offensive lineman guys. But here's the thing. How fat do you have to be? How non-muscular do you have to be in order to fit 40 fucking bags of heroin into your navel? 40 goddamn bags. That is a huge naval cavity. That's huge. I mean, 40 bags. I mean, if you look at them, if you think about, again, the aforementioned pepper and salt packages, they're not that big. But when you get 40 of them together, you've got to cram them together. And even then, that is an incredible feat. Just thinking it just in sheer logistics, and then putting the crack cocaine and Percocet pills into fitting it all in there and trying to get away with it. You've got to kind of applaud the guy, right? I mean, transporting illegal substances, that should probably be legal anyway. How they found all the drugs, I don't know. They said it was a traffic stop. It wasn't a drug warrant or anything. But 40 bags of heroin in your navel, you got to have a big navel. Now, 315 pounds, I don't know if a fat 315 pounds gets you enough navel space to hide 40 bags of heroin and some crack and Percocet. But apparently he did it. Apparently this guy was like, yep, that's what I do normally. Get this guy a job at Amazon. That's what he should do when he gets out from, I don't know, well, if he's got 40 bags of heroin, he's probably doing life in prison. But still, I don't know, if he can get a work release from prison, hopefully he goes to a prison near an Amazon warehouse, get him a job at Amazon. That guy knows how to pack shit into tight places. That guy will probably personally save Amazon a couple $1,000s in shipping. Because if you can fit 40 dime bags or nickel bags or whatever the fuck of heroin in your navel along with crack cocaine and Percocet, you're pretty good at fitting things together. You're pretty good at, like, all right, eyeing things up and like, all right, this will fit here. And bam, we got it. Get that man a job at Amazon. Amazon. You got enough power. You basically own the world now. You and Google are fighting for your ownership of the world. Go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and give the state of wherever this fucking was. I forgot because I had to close out the page. Give them a call. Be like, hey, can we get that guy? He'll pay you a little money. I don't know how much is that. He's a nonviolent drug offender, right? Nonviolent. Here's a couple million. Or here's a couple thousand. Come on. Let him teach a class, right? Hire him, teach a class, teach people how to properly pack things together. When Amazon gets into the heroin shipping business, this guy will be fucking perfect. That's exactly what you need to do. Amazon, get on it. I've got your next employee of the month. All right, let's talk about this Montana judge and rape culture and 14-year-old broads. Now, this is the headline from thewire.com, which is just liberal bullshit. The Montana judge who blamed a 14-year-old for her own rape will be censured. That's not what fucking happened. Okay? I talked about it on That's Not Why He Called. But that is not what fucking happened. This is the judge who said, who sentenced a 47-year-old teacher who was engaging in a sexual relationship with, this is a statutory rape charge. This wasn't a violent rape case, okay? 47-year-old teacher gave him probation. And his reasoning was because the girl appeared older than her chronological age, which is not to say, well, she was asking for it. It's the guy was trying to say, the judge was trying to say, this little girl was able to consent. All right, we'll read the story. This is from thewire.com. Just put your bullshit libtard filter on and let's read it. A Montana judge will be censured and suspended for comments he made about a 14-year-old rape victim. The Montana Supreme Court ordered on Wednesday Yellowstone County District Court Judge G. Todd Baugh became famous after he sentenced a teacher who raped one of his teenage students to just 30 days in jail because he believed the victim, quote, seemed older than her chronological age, end quote, and was, quote, as much in control of the situation as her rapist. The victim later committed suicide. Like, that's fucking relevant. According to the Billings Gazette, the 6-page order calls for a public censure of Baugh on July 1st, along with a 31-day suspension without pay from his duties. Baugh did not seek re-election this year for his judgeship, so it looks like the court is allowing his suspension to serve as an early dismissal from his position. The order suspends him as of December 1st of this year. In the order, the state's high court wrote that his actions, quote, eroded public confidence in the judiciary and created an appearance of impropriety, therefore violating the Montana Code of Judicial Conduct. Adding that, quote, there is no place in Montana judiciary for perpetuating the stereotype that women and girls are responsible for sexual crimes committed against them, end quote. Fucking no liberal bullshit. Stop. There is no place in the Montana judiciary for perpetuating the stereotype that women and girls are responsible for sexual crimes committed against them. No fucking accountability anymore. Apparently now it's a stereotype that women are responsible for some things that happen. It's such a ludicrous notion now that women be asked to be held responsible, at least in part, for some things that happen, yes, to them, that it's a stereotype. What? And this is the judge. All this judge argued. Now, to get this bullshit out of the way, this same judge who is censured, G. Todd Baugh, this was the same judge who dismissed charges against another female who was being charged for filing multiple false rape charges. He dismissed the charges against her, and the Montana Supreme Court recently, I think just as of today or yesterday, reinstated those charges. Okay? So don't spare me, though, this guy hates women bullshit, because clearly he doesn't. If this judge was hearing a case of a woman who was, if he was so, rape culture, rape apologist, loves men, loves rape, all this stuff, and here was a woman who made a false rape claim against a male, and he was hearing the case, why did he dismiss the charges? Why did he dismiss him? If he is such a rape apologist, wouldn't he be like, hey, whoa, you're going to jail for life, motherfucker? No, he dismissed the charges. So it's not as easy to just go, this is an old man in Montana who loves rape and hates women. No, he doesn't hate women. He dismissed very serious charges against another one concerning rape, concerning false rape allegations, which is a big deal. And he said, no, dismiss those charges. Goes away. It went all the way to the Supreme Court. So, but what this judge argued, or what this judge trying to say, the idea of age of consent is that if you are under the age of consent, whatever it is, you cannot legally consent to certain things because you don't know what they are. You can't get into contracts when you're under 18 because you cannot, the law says that you are not able to really understand what you're getting into. Your contracts are voidable, if not all out void, just straight void. But what this judge argued, now that is not a clear, that's the law, right? And the law is, it's set in stone, but it becomes more amorphous and ambiguous and malleable when you get in front of a judge. When you try a case, or when you put a case in front of a judge, prosecution, defense, jury, whatever the fuck, there's a chance that it's like, okay, well, you interpret the law, and sometimes the law doesn't apply here, and sometimes you can say, well, yeah, it's technically this, but it's clear that this person knew what was happening, so that doesn't apply. That's part of the function of judges. And what this judge was trying to argue, he was not saying the girl was asking for it. I guess he kind of was. But what he was honestly arguing was that despite her biological age, this 14-year-old girl was able to consent. This was not saying she was in control as in she was doing it. No, she was in control of her faculties. She knew what she was knew what she was doing to the point of being able to consent to a sexual relationship. That is what the judge was arguing. And that gets spun by the liberal, ultra-liberal bullshit machine. Now, I am certainly liberal in certain ways, but to be ultra-liberal to the point where you take that and spin it into things like, not just this, but things like the Montana judge who blamed a 14-year-old for her own rape will be censured. When you spin that in, I got nothing for you. Fuck you. Fuck you and fuck everybody that looks like you. If you're that libtarded that you can't help but even understand that, this judge wasn't really trying to say, little girl, You shouldn't have flashed your panties at your teacher. That's why you got raped. It's not his fault. He just sees it and does it. No, that's not what he's saying. The judge argued, look, this guy and this woman, because she's not a little girl, she's a woman. They engaged in a sexual relationship, and there was mutual consent. The 47-year-old can consent, obviously, but the nuanced point was the 14-year-old girl is in control enough of her mental faculties to be able to consent. She knew what was going on to the point, and she was in control to the point of actually being able, despite the law, she was actually able to consent. So this guy didn't actually commit statutory rape. Only 30 days in jail for just being a weirdo. Because it's still fucking weird. When you're 47 years old, you know you should not be doing that with a 14-year-old. You know it's just wrong, despite, oh, I loved her. No, you know it's just wrong. If you really do love her, you say, hey, baby, just wait 4 years, that's it, and then we can start this shit. If you really love her. So you're just a fucking weirdo, at least a weirdo. But that's the problem. There's many problems wrapped up in all this societal issues. First of all, again, no accountability because the Montana Supreme Court says it's a stereotype that women be held responsible or women be viewed as responsible for things that happen to them. Fucking yes! Yes, it's possible. Of course it's fucking possible. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Women are not responsible at all for things that happen to them. Not at all, huh? All right. Society of no accountability, I guess. Well, then where's my no accountability? Where's mine? I'm a male. I'm a white male. Soon to be approaching middle age. Where's my lack of accountability? Where's my Supreme Court judge or my Supreme Court decision that says white males approaching 30 years of age are not responsible for things that happen to them because affirmative consent and implied consent, there's no such thing as implied consent does not apply to them because they're males. Where's that for me? Where's that for me? I want that. I want to be that. You know, women have it tough in society, having to live up to all these bullshit images that are perpetuated. They have to compete with Photoshop. You've got bullshit like Katy Perry said, all women are beautiful. Oh, really, sweet pea? Oh, really, sweet pea? Show up in fucking public without makeup for once. Don't wear a fucking push-up bra. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do a photo shoot. When you do a photo shoot for a magazine, say, look, you can't use my image unless you do not Photoshop and touch up these images. Why don't you do that? Why don't you empower women that way? And it's awful, right? But, you know, they do have it's gotten to the point where the Montana Supreme Court is saying, quote, perpetuating the stereotype that women and girls are responsible for sexual crimes committed against them. It's a negative stereotype, apparently, that you even consider that women are in any way responsible for some things that happen to them. What the fuck? Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain. It hurts. Oh, it hurts so much. Oh, my God. And what's more, here's my big problem. Because, you know what? Here's the deal. The 47-year-old guy is a fucking weirdo anyway. Just, again, at least a weirdo. Possibly a pedophile. I don't know his history, and I don't particularly care to know because it's probably kind of fucked up. So, at least a weirdo. Okay. Judges aren't allowed to be judges anymore. What this ruling is saying, what this administrative slap on the wrist, born mainly from outrage manufactured by liberals on the internet, or no. I apologize for bringing bringing political ideology into that. That was a misstep. That was wrong of me. Born mainly from outrage manufactured on the internet, because it matters not. Everybody manufactures outrage. Right, left, right or left, doesn't fucking matter. It just so happens that liberals are usually things like this. Conservatives do it with other things, minimum wage, economic stuff, bigger, small government, whatever. But with stuff like this, liberals are usually spinning the story into the most egregious, violent, vitriolic thing they can, a la the Montana judge who blamed a 14-year-old for her own rape. That's not what fucking happened. Not at all. Anyway. We have judges, and one of the really cool things about the Constitution and about the way it's done at the federal level is federal judges and Supreme Court judges, despite being appointed, they still have to. There's still a vetting process there. It's not like you can, the president or anybody can just appoint Joe Blow and be like, you're a federal judge now, have fun. The great thing is that they're appointed for life. And the reason they are appointed for life is because the whole idea behind that is nobody's going to fuck with you. You do what you want. You interpret law and all these things, all the things that are wrapped up in being a judge, many of which I don't even comprehend. All the things, all the theory that goes into being a judge and why the position of judge is needed and why the judiciary is separate from the executive and legislative bodies, why the judiciary is separate from the police. All that theory is wrapped up in being a judge, and why it's so important is why you're appointed for life. Nobody's going to fuck with you. And that's how it used to be. Nobody would fuck with federal judges. Nobody would fuck with judges, period, because they're fucking judges, man. But now in the age of sentencing guidelines, and minimum sentencing, and now blowhards on the fucking internet, judges can't be judges anymore. They're supposed to judge how society wants them to judge, and that was never part of the job description. It was never part of this judge's job description or any judge's job description. Blah, blah, blah. That they're supposed to adjudicate like Reddit wants them to. Like all the libtards on Reddit or all the conservative blowhards. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter your political ideological affiliation. You just want the judges to go a certain way. You want them to oh my God, this man raped this 14-year-old girl. Oh my God, we must put him in prison forever. And here's a judge who said, you know what? I think that after hearing all the evidence, being a judge, being a supposed learned man of law and society, I think that this girl was able to consent. After hearing all the evidence, it is my belief that this girl was able to consent. And while this man is guilty of statutory rape, or whatever he was found guilty of, I'm only giving him 30 days in jail and probation, 10-year probation, or whatever it is, because I believe that this 14-year-old girl was able to consent. That gets turned into the Montana judge who blamed a 14-year-old for her own rape will be censured. And that turns into outrage that gets the judge censured for being a judge. And the only real fight against this is I hope that each and every one of these people who are all butthurt about how, oh my God, how could this judge be so lenient? I hope they get brought up on some bullshit charge. I hope they get caught dead to rights with pot. While pot's still illegal in many places, I hope they get caught dead to rights with that controlled substance in their hands. And I hope they get, I'm hoping against hope, I know, but it would be so sweet. They get caught with pot, and the cop says, and the prosecution says, intent to distribute. We're going to try to slap you with intent to distribute. And I hope they finally get a judge, and I hope they're found guilty. They're found guilty because they had a lot of pot on them. They're found guilty of possession with intent to distribute, and they're staring down 5 fucking years. Hard fucking time. And the judge says, I looked at all this evidence, and while this person is guilty of possessing this illegal substance, it's very clear that they're not a pot dealer. It's very clear that they just like to get high. And I personally don't see that as a problem. This person is not a black mark, a scourge on society. 6 months probation. Have a nice day. And I hope that happens. And I hope that these fucking assholes have the mental horsepower to realize what just fucking happened. To realize that the same process, the same freedom that allowed them to walk out of there with 6 months probation when they were staring down hard fucking time for some bullshit charge is the same exact thing they wanted this judge run out of town for. The same exact thing they want to ruin this 47-year-old man's life for. There's the same exact thing. The same people that say the judges shouldn't have the freedom to do this. That's why we need minimum sentencing and sentencing guidelines. And the same people that say that, that's the same freedom they're talking about. They want to remove that freedom in certain instances, but when it helps them, oh, hey, all right. 6 months probation when I was staring down 5 years, a hard time? Hell yeah. But oh, no, because the Montana judge who blamed a 14-year-old for her own rape. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's honestly pathetic. It is pathetic and sad to see our society turn this way. Again, nothing but appeals to emotion. Nothing but, oh my God, think she was a 14-year-old girl. Well, can you trust this judge? Man, woman, doesn't matter. Trust the judge to hear the evidence and make the right call. That's their fucking job. When you're going to delegate the responsibility of adjudication to a certain group of people, judges, you have to give them the authority commensurate with that responsibility. You can't say, all right, you're going to be a judge, but you have to judge along these guidelines, and you have to sentence people along these guidelines. Well, what the fuck? It's a bullshit delegation of responsibility when you say you're going to be a judge, but you can't do this, can't do that. And what's more, you've got to sentence in this way. There's no lenience in terms of sentencing. You have, that's not up to you. You've reduced the position of judge to being just a mouthpiece for society, mouthpiece for the loudest of minorities or majorities of society. That is what people have turned being a judge or the position of judge into. Now no longer can a guy, he's got 4 DUIs. This man needs help. I'm not sending him to prison. I'm sending him to an outpatient alcohol recovery place and 6 months probation. And that you're just going to have to fucking deal with it because I'm a goddamn judge. But no, that's not enough. It's not enough that, well, this comes back around and helps you hippy-dippy motherfuckers, when you get caught with pot, LSD, coke, whatever, and the judge says, you just want to get high. 6 months probation. Have fun. Go fuck around and be fucked up. That helps you out then, but oh no, when it offends my hippy-dippy sensibilities, you can't have judges doing that. All right. Then all that other stuff is going to go away. But somehow, I don't think that they would be too welcoming of that. Well, why am I going to prison, man? It's just a little pot. Well, that freedom that would allow you to otherwise walk free is the same freedom you railed against because how it so offended your sensibilities that a 14-year-old could possibly actually consent to sex. And so now it's gone. Have fun. All right, in other news, we'll wrap up the Lefty Show with this. I've talked a little bit. I don't know how much in either this show or just podcasts I've been on and videos before. The whole idea of the NCAA and the student athlete is bullshit. It's bullshit. I went to a Big Ten school. I was in classes. I took a lot of electives with athletes, and let me tell you, they didn't show up to class. I didn't see them a lot, especially during the season of their respective sport. Football was primarily the one. I had a Spanish class with a baseball player too. So they weren't, the whole idea of, they're going to school, they're getting their degrees, they're students and athletes, not just athletes, is bullshit. This is a story from ESPN Outside the Lines. Rashad McCants, the second leading scorer on the North Carolina basketball team that won the 04-05 national title, told ESPN's Outside the Lines that tutors wrote his term papers. He rarely went to class for about half of his time at UNC, and he remained able to play largely because he took bogus classes designed to keep athletes academically eligible. McCants told Outside the Lines that he could have been academically ineligible to play during the championship season had he not been provided the assistance. Further, he said head basketball coach Roy Williams knew about the, quote, paper class system at UNC. The so-called paper classes didn't require students to go to class. Rather, students were required to submit only one term paper to receive a grade. McCants also told Outside the Lines that he even made the dean's list in spring '05, despite not attending any of his 4 classes for which he received straight A grades. He said advisors and tutors who worked with the basketball program steered him to take the paper classes within the African American Studies program. It's all bullshit. Now, of course, somebody's going to say, well, there's a kicker who's, microbiology and there's an offensive lineman. Right. There was even a safety out of Florida State, as I remember, who had definite NFL prospects who decided to go to Oxford to be a Rhodes Scholar. And he said, no, I'm going to not go into the NFL. I'm going to go be a Rhodes Scholar. So yeah, there are guys that actually go to class and are smart in the NCAA, and some of them play big time college sports. However, the vast majority of these players on these teams, of these scholarship athletes, are taking bullshit classes. Nothing. They don't go to class. They're signed up. People write the papers for them so that they can go play whatever their sport is. Whatever their big-time sport is, whether it be college basketball, college football, and maybe baseball in some regions. I'm not sure if there being any other big-time hockey. Oh, certainly hockey in some regions in North America. And the whole idea of, these guys are student athletes. These guys are doing it all. They're living the dream. They are performing at or near the top of their collegiate sport, and also they're going to class and they're on the dean's list, et cetera, et cetera. It's all bullshit. I'm reminded of in 2005, I want to say, it was Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart was the quarterback for USC, the USC Trojans, University of Southern California, and it was a big thing that he had returned for his senior year to try to win another Heisman Trophy or try to win another national championship with Reggie Bush. And they made a big deal during one of the later games of the season that was on national television. Again, Matt Leinart, amateur student athlete, right, on national television being talked about by Brent Musburger and all these people. And they said they were joking, the commentators were, about how Leinart was taking only one class that semester. One class, and he still retained academic eligibility. That class was ballroom dancing, and he was taking it with his girlfriend at the time. And that stuck with me, and that's something I like to trot out every single time somebody says, well, they're student athletes, they're taking the classes, they're going to class, they're doing these things, and that's why their scholarships are their compensation, right? The degrees they get are compensation for their sports. Every time I say, well, they should probably be paid. Well, they're paid by their scholarships and compensation. Really? Matt Leinart took ballroom dancing. Is that proper compensation? His bullshit degree or Rashad McCants, is his bullshit dean's list appearance proper compensation for his time and effort around which UNC probably raked in a couple, perhaps $100 million during his time at UNC from the basketball program alone? Is that proper compensation? No. And think about what kind of degree you're going to get, right? The degree is just a piece of paper. The degree is just a piece of paper. It means nothing. It doesn't really mean anything. What matters is what you learned, what you supposedly learned under that piece of paper. The piece of paper is supposed to signify, although it isn't actually, you didn't do anything, the piece of paper signifies what you supposedly learned, among a few other things, dedication, etc., work ethic. But if you have a bullshit degree from classes you didn't attend, what kind of future does that set Rashad McCants or any other athlete up for? Yeah, they get the piece of paper. Okay, yeah, they get their degree. That's proper compensation. Well, in order to stay on the team, in order to play on the team, they had to take these bullshit classes. Because keep in mind, these guys aren't fucking around. It's not like, I take these bullshit classes, I'm just going to go jerk off when I should be going to class. No, they're taking these bullshit classes and not going so that they can go to the gym, so that they can go to workouts, so that they can attend film sessions. That's what they're doing. It's work. But it's all wrapped up in some bullshit of, oh, well, student athlete. And so they don't go to class, but they still get the grades and they still get the degree. What kind of future is that? With a degree, people are going to be like, oh, you got a degree in criminal justice, huh? Yeah. Do you know anything about criminal justice? No, not really, I guess. Oh, but you have a degree. Yeah, I got a degree. Oh, okay. So what do you know? Yeah, nothing. I don't really know anything. So what is the degree worth anything? I guess not. It's just It's a meaningless degree. It's all meaningless. And this is story after story of former college athletes that say, yeah, it's just all bullshit. It's all bullshit. The NCAA finally just, we're talking to Chiz about this whole Minecraft thing. And the pay-to-win servers, et cetera, and people think it's going to end. It's not going to end. But I asked Chiz, I said, I just asked rhetorically, I'm like, because he was telling me about how, about all these server owners and Mojang coming down on server owners and the sort of prickly relationship they all have with each other. And I said, can people just make gobs of money together without trying to screw each other, without trying to screw somebody else over? Obviously we can't because we're fucking humans, but the NCAA can still create some sort of paying players program in which, one, the universities don't go broke, and two, the NCAA still makes hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. But they don't, because paying the players would result in what? 25, 30, 40% more or less. Paying them would result in 40% less than what they have now. Keep in mind, 40% of $1 billion or 60% of $1 billion is still a fucking lot of money. It's still a lot, and it's all profit. But the idea of it's like, well, I'd still like to hold on to that 40%. So I'm still going to perpetuate this bullshit myth that they're student athletes. They're not student athletes. It's all of it is bullshit. Should be the mantra of the show. All right, let's bring it home. Woo, another great Lefty show on this Friday, D-Day anniversary. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you to everybody for listening, watching, liking, favoriting on YouTube, subscribing there too. Helping the channel grow helps the show grow vicariously. Thank you to everybody that has been and will share the show with your friends, family, and or coworkers. I greatly appreciate it. That's a great way to help the show grow. You can also donate if you want to help out the show monetarily. Go to imraising.com/643 Productions. That's imraising.com/643 Productions. Link in the description. Once again, imraising.com/643 Productions. You can follow me on Twitter at Lefty643. Stay updated on all the things that's going on. PK plays, that Lefty show, heads up, all this stuff at Lefty643. Anyway, guys, that's my time. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you later. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out. Bye.
Come with me if you want to live.